A heart attack, also scientifically known as myocardial infarction, occurs when blood flow to a section of the heart muscle is blocked, often due to a buildup of fat, cholesterol, and other substances in the coronary arteries. The buildup of all these substances is referred to as plaque. The coronary arteries are the arteries responsible for supplying the heart muscle with blood. Now, back to the plaque. When this plaque ruptures, a blood clot can form and obstruct the blood flow, depriving the heart muscle of oxygen and causing it to become damaged or die, leading to heart attack symptoms. Symptoms may come on suddenly or develop slowly over hours or days. The hallmark symptom is chest pain or discomfort. People report that it feels like pressure, squeezing, fullness, or pain in the center or left side of the chest. This sensation either lasts more than a few minutes or goes away and comes back. Heart attacks are scary, painful, and even life-threatening. This is why in this video we will reveal to you 7 worst breakfasts that trigger heart attacks. Now, without any further ado, let's get to it. Number 1. Breakfast sandwiches. Breakfast sandwiches, especially those made with white bread and processed cheese, are a combination of unhealthy fats, sodium, and refined carbs. For starters, the white bread is stripped of fiber, leading to rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. Consistent consumption of refined grains contributes to insulin resistance and weight gain, increasing cardiovascular risk. Secondly, processed cheese often contains high amounts of sodium and saturated fat. All these factors combined makes breakfast sandwiches one of the worst breakfast foods for heart attacks. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, published in 2017, examined the effects of processed cheese and refined grains on cardiovascular risk. Researchers followed 150,000 participants from the Nurses' Health Study and the Health Professionals' Follow-up Study over 25 years. They analyzed dietary patterns with a focus on refined grains and processed dairy products. Those consuming the most refined grains and processed cheese were found to have a 30% higher risk of developing coronary heart disease compared to those with lower intakes. Number 2. Pastries and muffins. Sadly, those freshly baked pastries and muffins aren't ideal breakfast foods if you want to avoid heart attacks. This is because these baked goods are made with refined flour, sugars, and unhealthy fats like butter or hydrogenated oils. All these ingredients enter your body and collectively work to increase your risk of heart diseases. And as we explained earlier, unhealthy fats contribute to the development of atherosclerosis as they increase low-density lipoprotein cholesterol levels. Furthermore, since pastries and muffins are high in carbohydrates and sugars, they cause a blood sugar spike and a subsequent surge in insulin. This leads to obesity, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. In 2014, a cohort study was published in JAMA Internal Medicine, which examined the relationship between refined carbohydrates and cardiovascular disease risk. After analyzing data from various surveys, it was found that those consuming 17 to 21% of their calories from added sugars had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease than those consuming less than 10% of their calories from added sugars. Number 3. Processed meats. Processed meats are foods such as bacon and sausages that are adored by millions around the world. However, these are one of the worst foods that can be a part of your breakfast. This is because processed meats are high in saturated fats, cholesterol, and sodium, all of which contribute to heart diseases. The high levels of saturated fats in them elevate the levels of a bad type of cholesterol called low-density lipoprotein cholesterol. The problem with this type of cholesterol is that it sticks to the walls of blood vessels and consequently narrows their lumen, causing atherosclerosis. In addition to that, processed meats often contain immense amounts of sodium due to their high salt content. Eating them daily can lead to chronic high blood pressure, which will damage the wall of arteries over time. Plaque is more likely to form on damaged rather than healthy blood vessel walls. A meta-analysis published in Circulation in 2010 analyzed 20 studies examining the impact of red and processed meat on heart disease. This meta-analysis included studies with over 1.2 million participants across 10 countries. The researchers separated the effects of unprocessed red meat from processed meats like bacon and sausages. According to the results, processed meat intake was associated with a 42% higher risk of coronary heart disease. On the other hand, unprocessed red meat was not significantly associated with increased heart disease risk. Number 4. Sugary cereals. Today's media have painted cereals as a staple breakfast food. While no one can argue that it is one of the yummiest options, it isn't the healthiest. As a matter of fact, cereals are one of the least nourishing breakfast foods. These sugary cereals are high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars, which can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. Over time, this contributes to insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome, both of which increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. Not only that, but the consumption of high-sugar foods can also promote chronic low-grade inflammation, which plays a key role in the development of atherosclerosis and heart disease. All this is supported by a study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology in 2020 that explored the link between sugar consumption and cardiovascular disease. Here, researchers followed 118,000 adults for over 30 years. It was found that participants consuming the highest amounts of added sugars had a 38% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular diseases compared to those with the lowest intake. Before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 5. Fried foods. While it is no secret that fried foods are terrible for your heart health, some people still include it in their breakfast plate. Fried foods are high in trans fats and saturated fats. Trans fats have been strongly linked to heart disease. They raise the levels of bad low-density lipoprotein cholesterol while simultaneously lowering good high-density lipoprotein cholesterol. Adding to that, frying foods at high temperatures creates harmful compounds such as advanced glycation end products and oxidized fats. These compounds accumulate inside your body cells and cause a form of damage to cell structures referred to as oxidative stress. This leads to inflammation and damage to the lining of arteries, accelerating the development of atherosclerosis. A study published in BMJ in 2019 investigated the link between fried food consumption and cardiovascular disease risk. After following more than 750,000 participants for 20 years, it was found that individuals consuming fried foods at least once a week had a 28% increased risk of major cardiovascular events, such as heart attacks and strokes. Additionally, they showed a 37% increased risk of heart failure. Number 6. Pancakes with syrup. Pancakes are another staple food that shouldn't be on the breakfast menu. Pancakes, especially when made from refined flour and topped with syrup, are high in both refined carbs and sugars. Due to their content, a platter of pancakes with syrup can lead to insulin resistance, diabetes, and obesity, all of which are major risk factors for a heart attack and other heart diseases. In 2016, a study investigated the impact of foods that cause rapid glucose spikes on heart disease like pancakes with syrup. The results showed that women consuming such foods had a 19% higher risk of developing coronary heart disease. Number 7. Energy drinks or sugary coffee beverages. After waking up from a long night's sleep, we all want to feel energized in the morning, so it makes sense that some of us chose to pick an energy drink or a cup of sugary coffee to start their day. However, this will only provide a short-term burst of energy and long-term negative impacts on the heart. Caffeine, whether in energy drinks or coffee, increases blood pressure. This puts additional strain on the heart and the rest of the circulatory system. Moreover, caffeine also stimulates the release of adrenaline, which can lead to increased heart rate, and in vulnerable individuals, trigger heart arrhythmias. A 2014 study published in JAMA found that those who consumed sugary energy drinks had a 29% increased risk of developing hypertension and high caffeine levels were associated with a 23% increased risk of heart palpitations. So, these were the top 7 worst breakfasts that trigger heart attacks. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these foods were part of your daily breakfast plate? What will you be replacing them with? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.